Good morning, 819S. It's a cool one again. 12 degrees with a high of 15. Nice day to go out for a ride. Today, I don't have a news topic like I have had recently. I do want to talk about ways to stay warm when you're riding, especially in the winter. The cold weather is just around the corner right now, so if you need to ride or you want to ride and you need to stay warm, it's really important. I actually had my fingers turn kind of a purple color once with gloves on riding in double digit weather. Maybe it was 10 degrees because the wind chill really froze my gloves. It rained a little bit on part of the ride, so my gloves were wet, and yeah, it was actually pretty scary. I didn't realize how bad they were. I knew my fingers were really cold, so I was like tapping my fingertips to make sure I still had sensation, and I was wiggling my fingers constantly. That was my signal that I really, really needed to stop. I pulled over at like a Family Mart or a Lawson, just a convenience store, and I had trouble taking my gloves off, and I was actually pretty worried. Luckily, the bathroom had warm water. Sometimes old buildings don't have warm, they just have water, which means it's cold water. But I warmed my hands up, I got a warm coffee, I sat there for maybe 30-45 minutes just kind of waiting for my body to heat back up again before I rode home. After that, I was always a little bit more cautious about what I wore and how I prepared. So generally, my tip is to dress in layers. If you know it's going to be a really cold day or you're going for a longer ride, I usually wear a pair of sweatpants under my pants so that I have 2 layers. And on my scooter, I bring a leg blanket. I've shown it in one of my videos in the past. Basically, it straps around your waist and it hangs over your legs. It works really well if you're on a scooter and you want something you can clip on and take off really, really quickly. It's great for your lower body. And then when I do longer rides on my CRF, I have a pair of proper winter pants. They're just like my winter jacket. They have an inner liner that can be put in and taken out. It keeps my legs really warm. In addition to that, it also provides protectors and stuff like that. So for winter riding, it's phenomenal. I really love them. I think they were about 20-some thousand yen when I bought them, and they have paid for themselves many times over. They're really nice in winter. For upper body, again, layers is a good way to do it. T-shirt, like an undershirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, maybe a hoodie, and then maybe a jacket, depending on how good or bad your jacket is. Anything that's breathable is going to be terrible in cold weather. You want something that's not breathable. Waterproof would be nice too, in case you do end up riding in rain or snow. And the good thing with layers is you can take them off if you need to. You can put another one on if you need to. And then gloves, a simple pair of leather gloves is often enough if they're padded or if they have some kind of thermal protection. Gore-Tex and oh boy, the names are escaping me now. But any of those famous brand names for winter warmth, those are going to be good in most cases too. Thinsulate or something like that. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not as good as other brands, so your mileage may vary. But find something that you think is going to be warm and check the reviews online to see if they actually are. My recommendation is always bring a second pair of gloves with you if you can, if you have a storage on your bike. I try to bring a second pair of gloves with me everywhere. If the first pair of gloves starts to get freezing cold, then you can always swap out gloves halfway through the ride. And don't let your fingers get to the point where you are doing little finger exercises to make sure they're not frozen. That was my first mistake, I think. I also tend to bring a neck warmer with me. I believe they might be called gaiters, Gaiter, but I have 2 of them in my house. One is kind of light and fluffy, but it's got a windproof layer in the middle, and the other one is kind of like a neoprene almost like material. So both of them are windproof, that's the key, and I've worn them for really long rides in the minus below 0 temperatures, below 0 Celsius temperatures, and they were fine. They were good enough to keep me warm. And for your face, wearing a mask might help if your helmet breathes a lot, or if you wear a motocross style helmet like I do. Could be one good option. Definitely wear goggles if you're wearing a motocross style, and if you have a helmet with a visor, keep the visor closed. So that's the main parts of your body. I think those are common sense for most people. If you want to stay warm and you want to enhance the experience, the USB grip heaters I've talked about already, and hand covers do a lot. The hand covers do a lot to keep your hands warm. Those are both great additions to bikes, especially scooters. And there's also electric hand warmers. They're like a little puck that you can carry in your pocket. They charge through USB, and when you turn them on, they often have multiple temperature settings. I sometimes bring those with me. I don't usually turn them on until I need them, or a little bit before I need them, because I think the batteries don't always last really long, especially if you run it at the high temperatures. If your motorcycle has a USB port on it, you can also recharge it while you're riding, and then when you stop, you can turn it on or use it for a little bit in your pocket and then recharge it. In fact, I have two of them in my house. One is my wife's and one is mine. We bought a 2-pack, and if I go for a really long ride in really cold weather, I'll usually ask her if I can borrow hers, and I'll charge one while I use the other, and then switch them until my ride is over, then give it back to her. The other one is kind of, I don't know a better way to say it, so chemical hand warmers. Basically, they're little pouches that you can buy from a convenience store or a drugstore. And once you open the package and the pouch makes contact with air, it starts to heat up. They're pretty common in Japan. A lot of people use them in winter just for daily life, for commutes and stuff like that. They're called Kairo or Hokkaido. They're very nice, and recently there have been a few brands that do really hot ones. They're made for outdoor sports and outdoor events. The one that I use mostly is called Magma. Magma Kairos are really warm. On a really long cold ride, I'll put one in each pocket of my pants, and I'll sometimes, if it's a really cold day, put one in each pocket of my jacket. While they do keep you really warm on a cold day, you might want to be careful, because if you have it exposed to the wind or exposed to the air, they can cool down quickly, and they can just stop working in some cases. I took a ride in -5-degree weather, and I had 2 of them attached to my handlebars before I had my USB grip heaters. That's a long story, but actually they ended up freezing, and they didn't work. My thin slate gloves were enough to keep me warm, thankfully, but when I took my gloves off and touched the Kairo, they were already cold. So, and if you do keep them inside a windproof layer, then they can get extremely hot, like enough to burn you. So you have to be careful. Quick summary: dress in layers. Make sure as much as you can is windproof. Make sure you covered all of your skin, so neck, face, hands, legs. If you need something simple, make sure you can take it on and put it off really easily, like a leg blanket. Supplement your heat with external things like USB grip heaters and electric pocket hand warmers. When you feel cold, stop, pull over somewhere warm. There's convenience stores, a lot of places in Japan. If you can't stop at a convenience store somewhere, pop into a restaurant or a supermarket or somewhere where you can stay warm. There's often public places where you can heat back up. And yeah, get out there and ride, enjoy the cold riding, and always ride safe.